Have you ever had one of those days where you've been looking at other people's websites and thought, oh, that is such a cool feature, and you really wanted it on your own website, but you're not really sure whether you have the technical prowess to actually put it on there, or whether it's going to need a web designer, or all of those things that you really want to avoid? Well, I had one of those experiences recently. So I woke up on a Sunday morning and this just shows you all how sad I am, okay? So I wake up on a Sunday morning. Obviously, Sam is not currently home at the moment. And so I was like, what can I do? And I've had real website envy for the last few weeks, okay? It's been something has been going on since, I don't know, maybe like December, where I had some time out to step back and look at all the other cool things that people are doing. And I was like, I have website envy. And I've done basically nothing about it because my website is fine. My funnels all do really well. They're not actually hosted on my website anyway. So I was kind of like, well, what's the point? But I was sat there and I was thinking about it. And I've obviously been looking at lots of different website builders and all this kind of thing. And so I was scrolling through my Facebook newsfeed, 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And this ad pops up and it's like, proof source. Get pop-ups that convert. And I was like, oh, this looks so exciting. And so off I clicked into the veritable rabbit hole of this particular ad, and I came across this company, ProofSource, who were awesome, right? They have these really cool little pop-ups. And if you've been on my website recently, you will have noticed that, particularly for the Internet Evolution Challenge, we had these really cool pop-ups that would let people know, hey, so-and-so just signed up for the challenge, and so-and-so just went and bought this thing, and so-and-so just went and looked at Jess's About Me page and thought, ugh, really? But anyway, we came across this and I was looking at it. I was like, oh, this looks amazing. My team obviously doesn't work at weekends and I don't. But having gone into the rabbit hole, I now needed to do it immediately. So I sat there, 9 a.m. on a Sunday, coffee in one hand, hair in a kind of messy bun, in bed, dog on the corner of the bed, because Max loves nothing more than a Sunday morning lie. And he's like, he stretches out right at the corner of the bed and he's like, oh, this is so good. And I have my laptop and I installed this thing on my website myself. Now, you guys know how non-technical I am. So you also recognize the significance and importance. Like I should have marked my calendar and put, Sunday, 9th of March or whatever, but I didn't. So I've kind of missed out there. But it was so easy. And so I installed this, little pop-up widget thing on my site. And I kid you not, 3 or 4 hours later, I had people emailing me and being like, Jess, you've done this thing to your site and it's really cool and I don't know what it is and where did you get it? And so I spent some time, emailing people back and being like, I just found this really cool thing on a Facebook ad. It's called ProofSource. You should go check it out. And anyway, it's been amazing. It's been really, really good. It's been awesome for conversion and it's helped with bringing more eyes to some of the free resources on the site and stuff like that. And then I had a little issue with it. So later on Sunday, I was trying to get it to do some other stuff and complete user error. I'm going to throw that out there. But I couldn't make it work. And they have a cool live chat support button. So I was like, right, okay, I'm just going to put that in and maybe on Monday, someone will come back to me. Anyway, I type in my problem into the live chat and literally 2 minutes later, one of the co-founders pops up and is like, hey, Jess, how's it going? I'm so sorry that, you're struggling to put the bit of code onto the website. How can we help? And really walked me through it. And it was amazing. And I had such a good experience with them. I was really loving the user experience from the company. I was like, oh my goodness, would you come onto my podcast? Would you talk to other people about this? Because I think it's such an awesome tool. It's rare that I get really excited about software. And I just think it fits in so well to how you can really use all of your real estate to make more sales in your business. So on the podcast today, we have the amazing Natan Abramov from ProofSource. He is one of the co-founders of ProofSource. And today we're having an amazing conversation all about why ProofSource is a disruptive software technology piece in the market, what it can really do to help convert more customers on your website, and more importantly, some really interesting points around the psychological factors they actually took in to build the company, how they have helped multiple entrepreneurs around the world to sell more stuff and the awesome ways that they are looking at building the business over the next 12 to 18 months. So if you are really nosy and you love hearing about other people's businesses, about growth plans, about how you can take over the world when it comes to really innovating and changing an industry, make sure that you stick with me and Natan, because we're about to have an awesome, super interesting, really fun conversation. So, amazing Poddies, we have the wonderful Natan over from ProofSource on the podcast today. Welcome, Natan. It is so great to have you.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
So I'm really excited about this. And I was saying in the intro, I'm like the least techie person on the planet, to the point where when I was in corporate, I would break software all the time. In fact, I was so bad with it, they had to call in the international head of support from one company because I just couldn't make it work. Like, I just broke it. And they couldn't understand how I had managed to do any of this. And so when I came across ProofSource, I thought, oh, this seems like something that I would really love to use, but I'm not sure that I'm going to be technically able to do it. And so I explored your website and I, clicked buttons as you do. And I looked at, what I could potentially achieve with it. And this is on a Sunday morning. So I was playing around and I actually managed to make it work by myself. So I want to give you huge props for being one of the very few companies on the internet that I have managed to make the software work first time. And, and on top of that, when I did run into a complete user error issue, you guys were there to support me on a Sunday morning, which is just phenomenal. So thank you so much for that.
First of all, thank you for the compliments. Second, I'm really interested to know, how did you keep your job after screwing up with the software in the big enterprise? So I heard about a couple of scenarios where people got fired from because of it.
Luckily, they didn't fire me. I was making too much money for the company. But they did actually do this thing where they flew this guy over from France. And I felt really bad because we were sat in this meeting room and he had come in clearly expecting this to be complete user error and that I was just, a complete moron, which with technology I am. So, it wasn't going to be a big surprise to me. But what actually happened was I'd actually broken the software. There'd been some weird piece of coding in the software that I had somehow managed to come across and get rid of. And so my system wasn't working in the same way that everybody else's was. And so they used me as a focus group and they used to send me new software to trial and be like, hey, Jess, can you just play around with this and see if you can break it?
Yeah, well, free Q&A, I guess.
Exactly. But seriously, your software is amazing. And I want to teach people, or not teach people, but I want to tell people a little bit about the journey for ProofSource, because you guys have this incredible offering where you can, and I'm going to explain it in layman's terms because my Poddies know that I'm not the tech whiz kid, but you basically have these really cool little pop-ups on websites. And if you go to smartlytosell.com, guys, you can see the one that's currently on my website. You have these awesome pop-ups that basically say, oh, Jess just signed up for this freebie, or Jess just signed up to buy this course. And it's an amazing conversion tool, right? Because it teaches people and random visitors to your website that other people are going ahead, they're either buying things or they're downloading freebies, and it encourages other people to do the same. So tell us, how did you get this idea? How did you come up with that?
So the first thing is, it kind of creates such an atmosphere in your website. You're not alone in the website. More people are hanging out and doing some different activities on your website. And it kind of it pushes people to know and trust this website because they're not alone there. That's part of what we're trying to create. That's part of what we're trying to push, create a better kind of website experience or a better internet experience.
And I really love that. I really love that idea, because what you just said there about that community piece and not feeling alone on a website is huge. I think that's something that's massively undervalued, because when you go to any website, you just assume that you're the only person scrolling. But actually, if you know that 30, 50, 100 other people are looking at the same information and taking some kind of action, you feel like part of an exclusive club, I guess, right?
Yeah, it kind of gives you the sense that you're in a popular place and you're doing the popular thing, sort of like the herd effect. And, it's a psychological kind of thing that humans have. We're a social animal. We like being with other people. We like doing what other people are doing. So why not do it online as well? Even if you go on, like Amazon or eBay or whatever huge website, you're still alone out there. Sure, you have those reviews, you have those star ratings and stuff like that, but you don't know what's going on like in real time or in the last few minutes or hours.
Yeah.
So that was part of the thing that's something that we wanted to do. We actually got the idea from a booking website. Like we wanted to travel, my partner and I, we wanted to book a hotel somewhere, and we got this little pop-up saying, hurry up and book this hotel because 3 people have already did it. And
I love that.
We know that's a lie. We know it's not true, but what if it was? What if we could see what other people are doing in the website? How would we feel about websites? And that's when we decided we should create something or, like try to build it. We've been entrepreneurs for, I think, 4 or 5 years, maybe. We've been partners for the same amount of time. And we've had our fair share of failures, I got to say, in those 4 or 5 years. And when we saw this thing, we said, okay, let's give it a try. Let's build some, like they call it an MVP or a minimum viable product. Let's build something small, put it out there and see if other people feel like we do. Like we feel it's a good thing. We feel it's something innovative. Let's see if other people feel like we do. And we did run that test. I think it was January of 2018. So a bit more than a year ago. And people signed up. They were really enthusiastic about it and they wanted to try it out. And that's when we decided, okay, let's do this. Let's see what kind of experiences can we give people on websites? What kind of social experience can we boost on websites? And you mentioned it's a really easy thing to do. And being non-techie or not a techie person at all, you managed to install it on, on a Sunday morning and make it work. So that's also something that we're really centered on. We really focus on. We want it to be as simple as possible because, in the end, adding this kind of tool to your website and showing these kind of activities or notifications to your visitors shouldn't be rocket science. It shouldn't be something too difficult. And there are tons of people that have websites and they sell courses and they, they promote ebooks and free stuff and stuff like that. And they don't know how to use code or they don't know how to do tech stuff. So that's like a really big focus for us. It has to be very lean, very simple, and highly usable.
And I love that because it actually is, and it's one of the few products that, like I say, I've been able to just pick up and use. You have this really cool step-by-step action process when you go in, when you actually sign up for the free trial or whatever. And it made it really easy. And I was expecting it to be quite challenging because obviously my website is on WordPress and that has its own specific issues a lot of the time. And I didn't think that it was going to be quite as simple as it actually ended up being to set up. So I think the work that you've done there has been phenomenal in terms of creating this really simple user experience that actually leads to a really powerful outcome. I guess for me, did you have to do like lots of work on market research? Did you have to interview a lot of people to find out what they wanted? Or how did that minimum viable product come about, with a focus group or something similar?
Right. So I think we tried maybe a couple of times doing like surveys or focus groups and, like doing a little research, but that didn't turn out too well. You don't get too many responses. People are too busy for it. Yeah. So instead, what we did, and since, I'm on this podcast and I'm one of the co-founders of this thing, but people that go on our website and they open up our website chat, like the support chat, who's answering? It's me. I'm the one who's sitting there in the support chat and answering people. And I think that's the most, it's the highest traction, or I don't know how you call it in English, but it's the most face-to-face I can come with our customers. Yeah. So even if they're not paying customers, even if they're just browsing our website and suddenly they send me a question over our chat, I can really talk to these people and I take advantage of this opportunity to ask them a few more questions like what's bothering them? Do they have any doubts? What would they change in the process? Stuff like that. And we're usually very, very thorough, I think the word is, with documenting those interactions. So whenever I have someone asking for something or giving me feedback for something in our website or in our system, I would always open up, like a task or a note about it, and I would track people that asked it. And then we would count how many people asked for it or said the same thing. And based on that, we would make our decisions. So these decisions can be either feature-wise or flow-wise. We might also conclude from those chats, like someone is complaining about the installation process. He's like, come on, I don't know how to install this thing. Why doesn't it work on my website? And then we thought, like there's a big install button up top in the top bar. Why aren't you clicking it? And we said, all right, let's say that we're not dumb, but like the simplest of people that's going to use the system. What do I need for this to be simple even for me? And that's our thought process. And that's how we came up with this, like step-by-step wizard that you described before. You have this first step, install it on WordPress or Google Tag Manager or whatever it is you're using. And then step number 2, just tell us, how do you refer to your visitors? Do you call them visitors, or do you call them a sales leadership or sales professionals or something like that? And that's it. And
I love that. I really love how easy it is. I mean, it's so funny because the piece you mentioned there about, people are too busy to take surveys, and, when they're coming onto your website, you're taking them through those few extra questions. People want to talk about it, and the difficulty, I think, sometimes with the survey, and I'm running a huge survey at the moment, so I have this exact, issue, but the difficulty is with surveys is that people mean to do them, and they mean to go ahead and answer the questions, but life happens, and they end up not getting the time. So I love that when they've given you that real-time feedback, you've taken the initiative to go and ask them a few extra questions that would help benefit you guys as well, and the growth of your company. I think that's really cool. And I also love what you said there about it being that opportunity to be face-to-face, or as face-to-face as you can get over the internet with your customers. Because I think so many people don't do that. They want to build a product. They want to, and I think specifically in the software industry, right? They want to build a product, they want to sell it, but they don't want to talk to anybody. They want it to be passive. They want sales to just be rolling in while they're living the laptop lifestyle. And that's not really how business starts at the beginning, is it?
Yeah, that's the problem with software industry. Engineers are usually the people that are sitting behind those things, and they don't like interacting with people too much. They just want to focus on the technical issue. And I gotta say, I was once one of those people. I'm not an engineer, but I'm like one of those coders, and I do some of the coding tasks as well in the company and in the product. But I've learned over the years that if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to have those social skills. You have to be extroverted to some degree, at least.
Yeah.
You have to talk to people. You have to want to hear what they have to say, because in the end, you can't sell something that only you want, or you can't sell something that only you believe is good. So, and that's something that people don't do. I've ran into tons of customer service chats and stuff like that, and emails of software companies that I'm using. And it's usually like, what's your question? And then you ask your question, and then they tell you, this is the solution. Can I do anything else for you or not? And you're like, I don't know. No, I guess. Okay, goodbye. That's it.
It's such a weird experience. And it does make you feel like nobody cares. I think the ones for me that I really dislike are when you type in your question, and then it'll give you these automated things. Oh, maybe you mean this, maybe you mean that. And you're like, no, I don't mean any of those things. I need to talk to a person so that I can start explaining it. And in some ways, technology has maybe tried to take the place of relationships and having people at the forefront to kind of decipher what somebody's issue really is and then solve that issue.
Yeah, on websites, for sure. Anyone who sells a product online or a software product or anything like that, a lot of those people, they go into this trendy thing called chatbots, and they install it on their website, and then you get like a dumb robot chatting you with, what can I do for you? And gives you 4 options. Dude, it's not in one of those options. Let me talk to someone. And you never get to that someone. So I'm like, when I get to those, I always write, give me a person. And the chatbots usually don't understand that. As techie as I am, you still need those interactions. And I'm pretty sure our business is built on those relationships. And if I wouldn't have, like me and my partners We wouldn't have been talking to people over our support channels, or, like we would have brought somebody else to do it, like outsource it or bring like a part-time employee or something like that, who doesn't know the product and the market as much as we do. I bet that we wouldn't be half as successful as we are.
And that's the thing, isn't it? There are just some things that are so important in those first few years that you wouldn't give up, but you wouldn't necessarily assume as being like your primary reason for making sales. Nobody necessarily starts out and thinks, well, the best way for me to make sales is to sit on my support chat all day and personally answer the questions. But actually, it can be a really powerful tool for getting to know your audience and for helping them understand what you can actually do for them. I think that's huge. I guess my question to you, and this is one of those kind of just nosy, I want to know what's next. Like, what about as the business scales? Are you guys going to bring somebody in and train them up? Or is that a long-term plan for you guys to be always involved at that coalface, if you like?
I'm thinking that at least until we grow like 15 or 20 strong in the team, I think that we will continue doing those support chats, because we'll learn a tremendous amount of things from those support chats. And I don't think that as a business owners, we can give those up. By the way, there's, if I'm not mistaken, people from Y Combinator, which is a big, like a startup accelerator in the US, they always tell their participants, they tell them, get out of the building and talk to your customers. So that's like,
I love that.
The business 101. You get out of the building, you get out of the room, and you talk to your customers. So we're online. We don't really need to get out of the building, but at least get out of your comfort zone and talk to those people. So yeah, I'm guessing until we're at least 10, 15 people in the team, I'm going to keep doing those support chats. And then it's going to be a very highly trained and highly socially sensitive person that's going to be sitting on it. Even if he's not like a tech expert and he can't solve all the issues, he's going to be there and be sensitive to our customers and listen to their needs.
I love that. And I think it's really interesting because, I'm always saying to my clients, hire based on, yes, to a degree, the skills you want, but most importantly, hire on personality, because skills can be taught, whereas personality can't. If you have somebody who is really, really customer focused, who just wants to do a great job and make sure that your clients have the best experience, even if they don't have all the tech skills, that can be taught. But that personality, that desire to really help people and actually enjoy that part of the job, that can't be.
Yep, for sure. And in the end, business is people. So if you don't know people, you can't do business. So yeah, I definitely agree with what you said. Hire based on personality, at least to some degree.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. So tell us about ProofSource, because for me, I feel like it's a disruptive service to the market. So obviously on my Sunday morning of finding ProofSource, which I did, I think through a Facebook ad, just as a lead generation thing. If Facebook ads are working, because I'm pretty sure that's where I came across it. But when I was scrolling around then on the Sunday morning after I'd set up ProofSource, I went and I looked around because I'd said to one of the founders on the support chat when I got stuck, I was like, hey, I'd love to have you guys on the podcast. I think this would be so interesting for my audience, and managed to get you guys to agree to come on. So thank you.
Sure.
But the other thing was I went around and I looked because I was like, who else is doing this? Who else is doing this kind of thing? And there are a couple of companies, but they don't have the same experience. So, if you go to their websites, you're not necessarily getting a human to speak to you straight away. And it felt like when I was on those sites, it wasn't as personal and it wasn't as easy. So tell me how you guys have been working to disrupt this market.
Right. So it starts when we talked about how we got to this idea, like that we were on a booking website and all that. And it continues with the simplicity that we have in mind. So this is one of the goals of the product, is to be simple, as opposed to those competitors that you've mentioned. That's not the goal with them. So it's something like, I'm thinking it started out as a side hustle for them. They created some product, it's working, they're making some money out of it. They have customers, but they're not as focused on creating this unique experience, this simplicity. And of course, as a founder, I know all of my competitors. I know the whole market, top to bottom. And I can say it goes into, you have two categories. One is copycats. And that's just it's just the product is usually not working or it's not too good and it's just a cheap copy. And then there are the market leaders that have a good product and it's usually working, but it seems like they've stopped working on it. They stopped promoting it. They have like different things that they're doing. And when you're talking about proof source, we're always trying to invent something new. We're always trying to think about those psychological effects that we can bring into a website and make it more social and make it more interesting for the visitor. So things like, if right now we have notifications that show the recent activities, like Jessica just signed up, or Jessica just downloaded this freebie, or 50 more people are browsing this website with you, we're thinking about maybe we can take this a step further. How about feedbacks? How about reviews? How about maybe showing some more social data, like how many page likes you have on Facebook, or how many more people have reviewed you on Google?
I love that.
So,
that's so juicy.
I'm not sure about the juice, but
but it is, right? Because effectively what you're saying, and I think it's so interesting, because years ago when I started out online, there was this big, and I think there still is to some degree, people will say, oh, build it and they'll come. And it's like, well, actually, often they don't. Often it takes a long time to get traffic to come across to your blog or to your website or whatever. And actually, the other thing is that once they're there and they feel isolated, they don't always do anything. So if you can provide them with these consistent opportunities to, take an action or be involved in some kind of feedback loop, you're really getting them in early and making them feel part of something that's bigger than just them browsing a website. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm guessing that we'll be presenting more and more engagement kind of tools. So you'll be able to provide your users with more interesting things. And like you've mentioned, it takes you a long time to build it. And it takes you a long time to build the traffic, and to build those engagements. And it's a shame to see those, like in the start, at least when you're not too big, it would be a shame to see people leave because they don't trust the website because it's too small, or, it just doesn't seem like somebody's doing anything on that website. Like it looks like a niche website that nobody ever visits. So yeah, for sure. I'm guessing that would really affect the tools that we will be building in the future, would really affect those engagements and have people stay more on the website. That's it, I guess. That's my thoughts on it.
I love it. And when are those things going to come? Like, I guess that's what everyone's going to be like, oh my goodness, we now have to go and get proof source. When are those awesome features going to be coming on alongside the pop-ups and things that you already have?
We have an updates page that you can go into. Even if you're in our website, you can see the small what's new button on the top, if I'm not mistaken. And if you click it, you see the list of all of our recent updates. And I think there's not more than a couple of days between one update and the other. So we're constantly working on doing new stuff. I can even say that in the next week, we'll be having a new feature. It happens every week. Every week we have something new happening, whether it's add new data sources or add new, GIFs, supporting GIFs in your notifications so you can make them even prettier and more engaging with animations. So yeah, I'm guessing that in a year, the product exists for a year. In that year, we've built tons of new stuff and customizations, and that's not going to stop anytime soon. So there's a lot to look forward to.
I love that. I'm so excited for GIFs to come. I'm literally going to put cat GIFs and Ryan Gosling GIFs all over my website. So Poddies, if you visit the website regularly, expect to see those soon because they're coming.
Be careful with it, because if you get too annoying with those cats and stuff, people will leave your website.
I'll be taking your advice on it. Don't worry. I'll be like, okay, Natan, what do you reckon about this?
For sure.
So I guess the final thing I'd love for you to share is, what can people be doing with proof source right now to be increasing the conversions that they're getting on their website in a different way from what they might have already tried? So I guess, lots of people, they already have their opt-ins on their homepage, and, they have the standard kind of menu bar with your about page and your work with me page and contact me and whatever. But what could they be doing? What's one or two things that they could be doing with proof source right now to help them maximize their conversions and actually enjoy getting traffic through their website again?
Right. So the easiest thing to do right now is to install proof source and start collecting data. It takes no more than, let's say, even if it's a small website, it takes maybe 1-2 days until we can collect some data about how many people are visiting your website, how many people are opting in on your offer, and then creating an activity notification. We call it a stream notification because it shows a stream of recent activities. So imagine if you have like an opt-in to get a free ebook or to get a free course or something like that. And a person that gets into your website, he needs to fill in a form. That's something basic like his name, his email, and that's it. He clicks on submit. So the proof source technology, our technology in general, it can capture those submissions automatically, including the names of those people and where it happened, the submission, like the opt-in. And you can start showing those. So if you have a page where you provide that free course or ebook, and we want to show on the homepage, we want to entice new visitors that come to your website. We want to tell them, look, we have a free ebook. Look, we have a free course. Look, somebody signed up. We can do that easily with those notifications instead of, usually we have those links on our website, buttons and all kinds of description text that follow up with a call to action. It takes people to those forms. And we can add on top of it an activity notification that shows you who are the recent people that opted in. And that takes about 5 to 7 minutes to set up. And then anyone who signs up on your opt-in page will be automatically displayed to your new visitors. And automatically he will be selling for you. That's one of our mottos, let your customers sell for you. So it's an automated kind of word of mouth thing that people tell each other what they just did on the website. Sort of.
I love that. I think that's really powerful. And I think it's so true. So effectively you're harnessing, that almost fear of missing out, right? If it's good enough for somebody else, then it's good enough for me. If they can do it, I can do it too. And that's really going to help you convert whatever it is, whether it's free or paid, that wants to be on your site.
Right. Speaking of juicy details, so fear of missing out and urgency kind of things is also one of the psychological effects that we're working on, although it can be, transmitted with those kind of notifications. They lack the scarcity element. Mm-hmm. So sort of like maybe if you have a webinar that you're selling or something like that, maybe it's a limited seat kind of thing.
Oh,
so
I love that.
How many seats are left? And then you can push them to make the purchase or the sign up. So that's also something we're looking at if we're talking about future features and, stuff that we're thinking about for the near future.
I really like that. I'm so excited. I'm genuinely over the moon to be a Proof Source customer. So I know that my poddies are going to want to go out and check out Proof Source for themselves. And there is a special discount code that you guys very kindly gave me that we're putting in the show notes. And it's Proof Source Loves Jessica, which just makes me happy. So if you do want to go out there and you want to go and check out Proof Source, you can use that code and you can get a really, really great discount on it should you want to go ahead and take the paid option, which I would highly recommend. But
you should.
Tell us where they can find you. Where can they binge on all things Proof Source and try it out for themselves?
First of all, we have a blog. It's very active. We write about tons of sales and marketing oriented stuff. And you can always go there and read about what we're doing and what we think about both the industry and in general about online marketing and stuff and sales. And if you go to our website, which is provesrc.com, I'm guessing it's a pretty detailed kind of website. We have a lot of info about what we provide, what you can do with it. And you can also find us on all of those regular channels, every company has a Facebook page, a Facebook group, Twitter account, and I think that's it, maybe.
Amazing. I love it. Oh, I'm so excited. So there you go, Poddies. If you want to go ahead and grab a Proof Source and get it on your website, seriously, I would highly recommend it. Even if you are not technical, you can make it work. And obviously, even if you do have user error issues, then the lovely Natan and Yossi are over in the support chat to help you out. And obviously ask you a few extra questions for some market research too, but I think that's awesome. So thank you so much for coming on. I so appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Jessica. And thanks for having me for my first ever interview in a podcast. I hope it was good enough.
You absolutely aced it. Guys, if you are interested in heading over and grabbing ProofSource, make sure you head over to their website and use that discount code in the show notes. And you will get a really fancy schmancy discount on ProofSource. And you'll get to type in ProofSource Loves Jessica as the coupon code, which I just think is brilliant. I will see you guys on Monday for another epic episode. And if you do have anything you'd like to share with us, make sure you head over to social media and let us know how we did today and any key takeaways that you had. I'll see you in the next episode.